How would you feel finishing school and having nowhere to go? Jobs are difficult to come by. Some tertiary institutions are closed. The National Student Financial Aid Scheme is no longer accepting applications. So what do you do? If you're worried about your future, we can help. The chairperson of the National Youth Development Agency, Sifiso Mtsweni, joining us live from our Durban studios. Chief Executive Officer of Services, SETA Amanda Buzo-Gqoboka, is with me here in the studio. Warm welcome to both of you. Sifiso, let me start off with you. Right, you can't get into tertiary education or the course that you want. What should you do?
Well, thank you very much for having us tonight. Well, there's quite a few options. As you know that over the last few years, government has actually started the process of revamping our TVET college system in our country. You'd remember that in the past it was FET colleges, today it's TVET colleges, which mostly concentrates on your technical and vocational skills. So those young people probably, who have finished matric, who want to be skilled in those particular, areas of vocational skills, can be able to go to these TVET colleges. Registration is free. The education there is provided on a fully funded government scholarship. But also, we're saying to young people as well that they are able to come into some of our offices, particularly those that want to pursue, entrepreneurial activities, those who want to pursue probably, things such as various recreational, activities. They're able to come to us. We are able to give them the necessary skills. We are able to give them the necessary funding so that at least they don't just sit back and do nothing. But one of the things that we really want to encourage young people of this country is that go into the TVET college system and ensure that you acquire the necessary skills that you need to take yourself forward.
Okay, Amanda, I mean, that's one way to go about it. What can you add to that?
The first thing is that we have had a struggle with our learners not recognizing the importance of the TVET colleges and having preference on the occupational qualifications, which is your professionalized environments. And we're simply saying TVET colleges are the way to go because the skills shortages that we have in the country are only addressed through the TVET colleges. And we need a skill in South Africa, and we are encouraging students.
So what's the problem? Why are students not going there? Is the information not getting to them? What's the issue here?
It's something that has, if one reflects back, the TVET colleges were never marketed or promoted rather at the level or the language that the learners are understanding whilst they are still in high schools. And one of the issues that the minister has prioritized, even the previous minister, is to focus on career exhibitions at the schools where in the matric students from grade 9 to grade 12, they are educated and made more aware that the skills that are actually needed, you will find them in the TVET colleges. And that's basically what we're also encouraging, that students must make certain that they attend to that availability and make certain that they make use of those opportunities that are there.
And Sifiso, if a student gets into, one of the courses that they want, but they don't have the money, what should they do?
Well, you'd remember, Jane, that the government last year has announced the free education dispensation in the country, particularly young people that are from families that are earning 350,000 and below. So those particular young people, we've been engaging at length with NSFAS to ensure that that particular system is now working properly.
And because there's been a real problem.
Those young people have been
I mean, students haven't been getting the money for years, have they?
Well, as I'm saying, last year, remember the announcement was made last year, and of course, probably NSFAS at the time was not probably ready for such an announcement. But one of the things that we have confidence on is that this year there seems to have ironed out a few issues. Just today, we've been having a meeting with the NSFAS and the South African Union of Students, just to ensure that at least those particular students who actually qualify are able to get those particular funds. The NYDA also has what we call the Solomon Mahlangu Scholarship Fund, which is a fully fledged bursary. So young people are able to apply for the Solomon Mahlangu Scholarship Fund, particularly those who cannot get funding. But really we want to say to all those who have been accepted that they must just visit all the NSFAS offices. NYDA offices does work with NSFAS, so they can just go into one of our offices if they need assistance with NSFAS.
Okay. Amanda, how do you deal with students who, I should imagine, suffer depression because of this? How do you inspire them and get them to keep looking?
Okay. One of the biggest things that the services SETA more specifically has done in the past and continues to do is to do capacitation of learners at the high schools. And what we also did last year, which was quite a landmark activity that we did, was to also go into those learners that were not successful in matric or rather dropouts, to encourage them, to say to them that in terms of the FET colleges as well as the TVET colleges, you are actually able to go in there and start focusing and making certain that you are carving a qualification for yourself. And we set out the processes that you need to follow, and also capacitating them, because it's also not being able to understand what career do you want to follow. I think that's where the biggest problem is at this point in time. And so there are these opportunities that are out there, and it's not, one can lose the battle, but you can still win the war. And that's what we are encouraging learners to do even at this point in time. And we are saying South Africa is privileged because we have a lot of opportunities in terms of where you want to study. You can go FET colleges, you can go TVET colleges, you can go to university. And we are encouraging learners, that those that were successful and those that were not successful, that who don't want to go back to class. You've got your ABET, where a person can go in the evening and study, and during the day they can start focusing and finding what career or job they would want to focus on in the next year.
And I should imagine, Sifiso, this is important, and to do it quickly, because it's also a drain on the economy, isn't it, if they're sitting at home and not contributing?
Well, that's true. And especially also given the fact that we've been raising the fact that unemployment in this country continues to be high. And we believe that, acquiring an education and actually getting a qualification is the best way to actually, fight that particular system. But we also just want to say, to those particular, if you look at the TVET or the TVET schooling system, it actually focuses on those particular courses that are required by the economy. When you talk about electricians, when you talk about, people who will be doing welding or any other technical skills that the economy actually needs. So that's why we continuously, raise this issue quite firmly to say, those young people, let's not sit back, let's not take what they call a gap year. Let's actually go into these institutions and make sure that we come out with the necessary skill that will be able to contribute to the economy of this country.
Okay,
so
let's leave it there.
Sifiso
Mtsweni, thank you very much, and Amanda Buzo-Gqoboka, thank you. Still ahead, the heart-wrenching story of a woman who followed love from South Africa to Jordan but came back bruised and scared.